Welcome to The Tech Ranch, live and local here on Super Talk 1270. The latest gadgets, online security, websites and apps, social media, and so much more. How can technology help you? Let's find out. It's time for The Tech Ranch on Super Talk 1270.
And here once again, filling in for Marlo, while Marlo is somewhere searching parts unknown for all kinds of new and cool tech thingies to talk about. Summing up all of the courage and phlegm I can muster, Sheriff Nick Ressler. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you, sir?
Well, I'm just fine, except it's Monday.
Oh, yeah, Monday head.
Monday head.
Well, Nick, introduce your guest for today.
Well, today we're going to have a guest that kind of Doug Phelps. See, I got it right, huh?
Snoop Doggy Dog.
Snoop Doggy Dog.
Yeah, he's been here before.
Yeah, Doug's been here before. And Doug, he works over at Awesome 2 Products. And Doug, kind of fill in what you do over there.
Well, specifically, Nick, thanks for inviting me on the show this morning. Jim, thank you. Awesome 2 Products is a technology company, and my part is all things social media with National Day Calendar, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google Plus, things like that. So I manage a lot of the posts, videos, Facebook Live. And today we get to talk about all things apps. And as Jim was mentioning, Marlo is out. He's on the left coast. He's doing a lot of those things that the rest of us only dream about doing, and that is having fun.
He's in the City of Angels.
The City of Angels.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
And Dodgers.
And Dodgers. Go Cubs.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about all things apps, and Nick and I were visiting this morning, and he was sharing a little bit of his story of his weekend events. And Nick, you helped one of your daughters move over the weekend, I understand.
I wish there was an app to tell you whether or not you're getting sunstroke.
There probably is.
Yeah, there probably is. I do have a weird thing in my phone every now and then says it's overheating. And I don't know what do you do about that.
Yeah.
I put it in the refrigerator.
It's weird. Yeah, but that was kind of a chore moving, especially it was on the second floor, the new apartment, and then heat and everything. But we had help, so
Good.
That helped.
Good.
Yeah, talking about apps, imagine life without a cell phone.
Life without a cell phone would be amazing,
A lot of times it's, almost critical to have one in today's age.
In many
especially
situations.
emergencies and things like that. But there are a lot of other things on a cell phone that it can do other than emergencies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just going through some of the things, and I'm a newly converted smartphone user.
That's true.
I had a flip phone, which I called a genius phone. It made phone calls and answered phone calls, and that's all I wanted. And then Christmas time, my daughters and son talked to me about getting a smartphone. They could text me.
There you go.
And I thought, yeah, right. You got your phone in your hand. Why don't you just call me? And they, no, Dad, text is a lot easier, So anyway, I got one. And the first thing that I found and started to use, I have a Motorola G4, is the camera.
Okay, the camera.
The camera is awesome. In fact, I really think smartphones, cameras, are putting regular cameras pretty much out of business.
They are. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Photography, processing film and all of that is going the way of the dodo.
Yeah, one of the things that I found, not only is the picture clear, that you take, but the fact that it stores it, and you can access it. Now I'm using Google, I think it's called Android, right?
Right.
So there'd be two phones, Android and Apple.
iOS.
Right.
Okay.
So anyway, when I take a picture, it puts it in Google someplace, and I can go to my computer at home and I can pull it off, And so I found that to be very, very handy.
So you have your phone programmed, is what you're saying, to you take a photograph of whatever, and it automatically stores it into your Google account. You've got it synced. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a pretty neat and handy way. That way, if you forget your phone, it's still accessible through any Google account that you can get into.
Exactly.
From a desktop or a laptop.
Yeah.
Or
And as long as you're on that topic, the Google itself, I mean, I don't use everything that's in there. But we have a lady at the office, Amy, and she's an expert on Google. I mean, she'll sit down and talk to you about things that you can do. We have clients that come in and they use email, and she explains to them the benefits of using Gmail versus Outlook and things like that. And when you start using some of these apps and tools, it really almost makes your smartphone
even smarter
and more dependent on it, I guess.
Sure. You going back to moving, while you were visiting with another gentleman in the office, I Googled moving apps, and there's an app out there that is just that. It's called Move Advisor. And,
really?
Yeah. And what you can do with that app, obviously you can download it to your smartphone. And from there, say you want to move on September 15th, and you're going to move to Minneapolis, Minnesota, from where you're at. So you just put that information into your app, and the app takes over and breaks down a timeline starting from September 15th back to today. And then going forward, it beeps and tells you, okay, here's a couple of things that you can do this week to prepare you for the final move on the 15th. And it'll be things like box up unnecessary items in the bathroom or the kitchen, and just go forward week by week and get you ready for the big day when you move. And you're even able to go room by room and do an inventory of each room in your home, so that you can sort out, even before you start packing, the things that you want to move, the things that you want to get rid of, throw away, or give away, or things like that. So, looks like it's a pretty good tool.
So initially it would help you organize the move.
Absolutely.
And then there'd be a timeline telling you when to do certain things, which makes a lot of sense.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That way you can box up things you don't need every day. Mm-hmm. Up till the move, and get those ready first. Because I think that's one of my pet peeves is when you help somebody move, they don't have nothing boxed.
Exactly.
And then you got to wait till they box stuff up before you can move it. No, get the stuff ready to go.
And if I show up to help and they've done that, when we get to the destination place and we're unloading, I put everything in the bathroom. Just to be honored.
Another thing that I found is that you can store stuff in your email instead of storing it in on a hard drive. Like if you wanted to take, again, inventory your house.
Right.
And when you're moving, that would be a great time to do that. Your valuables, take pictures of it, and store it into your email. And that way you've got it accessible if there's a fire or burglary or something happens. And for your insurance, you can pull those pictures up and actually email them to your insurance adjuster and say, this is what I had and this is what I lost.
Sure.
I'm sure there's an app for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so.
We're coming up on a break. We will continue with Nick Ressler and the Tech Ranch in just a couple of minutes.
Right now, 77.
Here's Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons on Super Talk 1270.
Back now to the Tech Ranch once again. In for Marlo, it's Nick Ressler.
And Doug.
Yes, sir.
And Doug. And Doug is here helping us out. Marlo's on the, what'd you guys call it?
Left coast.
Left coast. Why do you call it the left coast?
If you look at a map, it's on the left side of the map.
That's right.
Oh, I thought it was because they were on the left.
Well,
that too.
We just didn't want to go there.
Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about apps today on your smartphone. I've got one here that I've used on a computer years ago when I first found out about it. And again, it's storing stuff in a cloud called Dropbox.
Dropbox.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard of Dropbox?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes.
You know, if nothing else, I store my all 1,500 passwords that are in there. You know,
Don't
do you
tell
remember
anybody
all your
that.
passwords?
1, 2, 3, ABC. Yeah.
Oh no, you just gave it out. Not good. I can't. And then you got to change them. So when I do, I just put it in Dropbox, and that way, when I'm trying to log in on something, even on my phone, I can pull up Dropbox and I can get it.
Probably pretty good idea as long
Yeah.
as nobody else can get into your Dropbox.
Well, yeah, you have to have a secret password for your Dropbox, which you have to remember. But once you log in, and the cool thing about Dropbox, they have a paid version and a free version.
Right.
And you don't get that much storage with the free version. But if you sign up for the free version and recommend it to other people, and they sign up, they will increase your storage space by X amount of gigabytes or whatever. And I think it's 20 gigabytes the limit, and that's what I have. And that's more than enough to store the stuff that I store.
That would be true, yes.
Yeah. How about, does anybody here shop at Walmart?
Walmart. I have
Walmart,
shopped
Wally
at
World.
Walmart. Yep.
You do? Does she? Do you have the Walmart app, Jim?
No.
I do.
You know about the Walmart app?
I've heard of it. Do tell.
You go to Walmart and you shop, and then what, Doug? You've used it.
I haven't used what you're going to speak of, but I think that you can compare with other shopping experiences, and it. You help me out here, but I think it stores up savings that you can then.
Basically, you buy what you're going to buy at Walmart,
Uh-huh.
and when you get home, you take the receipt,
Right.
and you scan the barcode.
Got it.
And it searches, and it finds items that would have been cheaper.
Elsewhere.
For instance, at the dollar store.
Okay.
You could have bought a case of pop for maybe 80 cents less than what you paid at Walmart. They credit your account with that money, and you can build up that account. And my wife shops at Walmart, and my daughters do, and they all have the app, and they scan it, and they get money back.
That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And along with that, there's another one, and I'm not familiar with this one. I put it on because the ladies at the office recommended it, and it's called Ibotta.
Ibotta. I have no idea.
Ibotta.
And what does that do?
That is another one, and there's certain stores like Target Net where you go shopping, and you get the receipt, and then you scan it, and if it's cheaper or they give you credit or whatever, I haven't used it yet, but I guess it works kind of like the Walmart app.
Simple is better, I believe, with some of these apps that are on the phones or that you can download in. Free is even better than simple, or free and
Yeah.
simple.
You know, and some of that stuff does get a little confusing, and I don't need confusion in my life. So if it is, I don't use it. I think one of the most important apps on a smartphone is the weather.
The weather app, okay?
Yeah.
Sure.
And there's several out there. Locally, the one that's on my phone is the KFYR TV weather app.
Okay.
And it'll bring up storm warnings and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, how often are you plan a day out? Well, the 4th of July.
It
is
was
an
warm.
example.
It was very warm.
Very warm. And what happened around 4 or 5 o'clock?
It rained.
Big storm came rolling through. And by pulling up the app, we were able to get the tables and all the dishes and stuff at my brother's house back into the house and into the garage before the rain hit, because
Very
we
nice.
saw it coming on the radar.
Very nice. Very nice indeed. You know, one of the pre-installed apps on my phone is the alarm clock. And I laugh because years and years ago, inside that app, there is a alarm, but a stopwatch you can use as an alarm. And years ago, a buddy of mine went out of town with his parents, and his folks lived down on the river, and they wanted somebody to go down and water their garden over the weekend. And it was a 3-day weekend. I think it was Labor Day weekend. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Don't worry about it. Friday night we went out and I fired up the well pump, and the tank pressurized, and the sprinklers came on, and everything was fine. And we went over to the house, and we were watering the house. And then my wife and I got back in the car. We left Friday night, and then Monday morning, holiday morning, about 6 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and I launch out of bed thinking, oh my goodness, I forgot to shut off that well pump. And I was all feared that I'd run the sandpoint dry and burned up the pump and fried out the tank. And I got back out there about 7:30, and there it was, just still spraying away. It sprayed for like 48 hours. Everything was orange because of the iron in the water. So long story short, if I would have had a smartphone with an alarm clock app, I could have set it for 30 minutes to sprinkle, and then I would have had my memory jogged, could have turned that off and avoided the nightmare that it was. And
I can see where that would be very, very handy. So yes. That came with your phone?
Yeah, it's just an alarm clock. Yep.
Huh. Mm-hmm. When you use this instant messenger or message, is that an app or is that something that's in the phone in mail?
Well, if you're talking about inside of Facebook, Messenger is an app inside of Facebook that, you and I are friends on Facebook, and then we can use Messenger just like texting to talk to each other, only rather than text messaging through the phone messaging app, we're inside of Facebook talking to one another, which, I think it's Facebook's way of keeping people in Facebook. Yeah.
Well, how does that work if I have my phone, it's on, but I'm not in Facebook? Because I'll get warnings, and I've got a text, it's called Messenger, and it'll say, I have a message.
Right.
Okay. So if I use that Facebook Messenger, will that also alert that you've messaged me?
You can turn notifications on or off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I'm not real hep on the messenger thing. I still got a thing about the phone in your hand. Why don't you just call me?
Right.
But I can see where a lot of times it comes in handy.
It can be in handy. There are those individuals out there that want to, and this is a pet peeve of mine, they want to have a full-blown conversation via text messaging, and that'll drive me crazy because I think I'm done. I've said what I need to say, and then they'll bleep back with another question or something like that. So finally, I'll just text, like, give me a call.
Yeah. That's kind of the school I'm coming from too. Is that if we're going to have a conversation,
let's talk.
Then let's talk.
Right.
Because I'm not real handy with the putting the buttons. Although you can use the voice messenger, right? So when you talk, it converts it to text.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's voice to text apps that are out there.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I can see using that, but still, if it's a long conversation, I just soon have a conversation.
Right. Right.
Rather than sit there and reading a text.
Well, and text messaging and that type of communication, it's great for sharing information, but it is, in my opinion, lousy for communication.
Yeah.
Just because, you and I are looking at each other right here, and we can see each other, the nuances, and we can hear the tone influxes in our voice and everything. But none of that is possible. So you can say something in a text message, and the other person can completely take it out of context. And next thing you know, they aren't speaking to you for a year, which may or may not be a bad thing.
Okay. How much time we got left, Jim?
About a minute.
About a minute. Okay.
When we come back, Nick, I've got an app that works with Facebook. It's called Blue Jeans on Social that we can discuss. It's a pretty cool app that I think a lot of folks, if they haven't heard of it, they would like to hear that. It works with video and Facebook Live.
And that's in Facebook?
Well, no, it's a separate app that you can download to both your PC and then to your smart devices. And then it works with Facebook.
Okay. We'll talk about that when we come back.
All right.
Right now, 77.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. Super Talk 1270.
Once again, it's the Tech Ranch, and once again, in for Marlo, it's Nick Ressler.
And Doug.
That's me.
Okay, now before the break, we were talking about Blue Jeans.
Blue Jeans is, it's a company out there that creates apps for social media, and they have an app called On Social. And On Social is an app where you can download it. It's got a 14-day trial, and then from there you would choose either the limited version or a high mucky-muck version for the bigger businesses and whatnot. But essentially it works with Facebook, and Facebook right now is very popular for live video events, Facebook Live, where you can just go on live and start talking to your followers, and they can interact with you by asking questions in the comments. Blue Jeans On Social takes that to the next level. You and I, again, we're in the same room, and if you and I both wanted to be on that Facebook Live event, we would both have to sit side by side in front of the same camera. Well, On Social takes it where if you were in New York City, I can schedule a Facebook Live event for this afternoon, send you a link telling you the time to come on. You're able to click on that link, download the app, and then at the appointed time, I'm able to invite you into the event, and you're on your smartphone and I'm on my smartphone, and the app takes over. We go live on Facebook, and we're side by side to our followers, but we're 1,500 miles apart. So that's basically what the Blue Jeans On Social app is all about. So now we can have the same conversation face to face. I can interview you about anything car repair or computer technology, or we can just talk weather.
Can you invite other people in and
yes,
make it a conference?
Yes, you have. They have two levels. The personal level, you can have 25 people, up to 25 people at once into that conversation, and then the business side of it, you can go up to 100 people.
Whoa. So
larger businesses that have a sales team around the country, as an example, you would be able to, all of you get together. It's like Skype on steroids. So you could do a sales training call with some of your better salespeople around the country, training the new hires here at the home office or something like that, and everybody's live face-to-face.
So now they have the free version.
Well, it's a free trial, 14-day free trial. Yes.
And you know what the cost is on it?
Yes. The personal version after the 14-day trial, I think, was $39.95 monthly. And again, that would get you up to 25 face-to-face contacts at a time, and you can do that 24/7 all year round. With anybody that you wanted in that regard, you just fire off. And as far as for the larger package, I don't remember exactly what that cost was, but it's exponentially higher. Yes. So it's a pretty neat tool. I played around with it just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so going back to the Facebook Live for companies that rely on social media and particularly Facebook to interact with their followers, and they have a large following on their page. National Day Calendar, for example, we're able to play around, and you and I could do a face-to-face trivia contest or something like that, get our people engaged, and give out some neat prizes.
Well, okay, talking about that now, you've done that at the office where you've had a contest.
Correct, yes.
And is that what you used, or?
No, not at that time. We just would use the iPad that we have, set it on a stand, and then interact with the computer monitor and ourselves, and do contests that way. It's very similar, but with this On Social, you have a full dashboard of tools and everything so that you're able to bring people in, move people out. And even your followers who are following the event live, if they were to raise their hand and say, I would like to participate, you can send them a link to bring them into the.
It's kind of like having a production studio, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a very good example.
Wow.
Yep, and it's just on board on your tablet or your smartphone, and you can use your PC, desktop, and a can't even think of it. A video camera.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Webcam.
Webcam. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are a lot of these things cross-platformed? Like you could use them on an Apple or use them on a PC or your smartphone?
Yep. This on social, I've got it on this. This is an Android smartphone. People out there can't see it, but the tablet back at the office is Apple product, so it's iOS based, and able to talk back and forth using both of them at the same time on the same platform and the same conversation.
Huh.
Yeah. So there are some pretty cool high-end tools out there that people can use.
It seems like a lot of those things are really getting to the point where there's no limitation to what you can do with them.
Pretty much, right. If you can conceive it, it's doable.
And then this one's fairly new?
It's newer. I know that they were in beta last fall.
Okay.
And like in November, I've seen some of that, and I hadn't heard about it up until a couple of weeks ago myself. So.
Well, one thing that I have, it's kind of a goofy. A friend of mine came in when he found out I had a smartphone. I took a lot of ribbing from a lot of my friends, and he said, "You need flashlight, not flashlight. Let me find it here. Army knife.
Army knife.
Army knife.
For a smartphone.
The old, what was it called?
Swiss Army knife?
Swiss Army knife. And so he put it on my phone, and he opened it up, and there's a flashlight.
Okay.
And built into it. And there's a unit converter. So if you wanted to convert metric, to whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. And there's a timer. And the timer is pretty cool because a lot of times when I'm barbecuing, you put the stuff on the grill, and I just open up the timer and say, okay, in 3 minutes I'm going to come back and check it.
Check on it, right.
And I guess there's actually some apps where you can put a thermos reader or whatever in the meat, and it sends it to your phone and tells you.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
It tells you when the meat's done or when it's cooked. You kind of set it, you want medium or well,
right,
or whatever. You ever heard of that, Jim?
No.
I think that you would be a barbecue connoisseur and probably knew something about it.
Well, as long as somebody else is doing the barbecue.
I'm with Jim on that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out and see about it. And then some of the other things in there, there's a stopwatch.
Right.
And then you're a carpenter, Doug, so you'd like this. There's a level.
A level. Okay,
Yeah. Sure. And then naturally a calculator.
Calculators are good.
And I love the magnifying glass. And then there's a mirror.
A mirror.
Basically, it's your camera.
So you can fluff up your hair before you go on that hot
And then you
date.
have a ruler.
So you can sit there and look at yourself.
Yeah.
And the ruler for measuring things.
So it's called Army Knife for the Android, and I'm sure.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Handy little tool.
And then what else do we have? I do have Skype on my phone.
Skype on your phone.
Yeah, me too.
And then, a lot of I just had this happen over the weekend. A friend of mine called, and he said he has a Roku, and that's a internet receiver box.
Yeah.
And his remote didn't work. And I said, go to their site and download the app for your Roku on your smartphone. And you can also do that on your TV.
Right.
And you can put your remote on your smartphone. So instead of searching around for your remote that you've misplaced, you can use your
Search around for your smartphone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have you ever left your smartphone in a restaurant or gas station there, Nicholas, when you've been on the road?
No.
No, never?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I've only had this for, 7 months. So.
Okay.
I left mine at Barnes & Noble once, and they called me.
Okay, that's
How did
good.
they call you?
Hi, are you the, I think we have your cell phone here.
Yeah, but if you didn't have your phone, how did they call you?
Well, I think what I did was I called to see if there were any messages.
Okay.
And then there was a message.
Okay.
Hi, if you're the owner of this phone, we're at Barnes & Noble and we got your phone.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's my big fear is if you lose your smartphone.
It's like losing your wallet.
Yeah, somebody else has it.
Start getting a little nervous. Yeah.
And now you can set it so that when it goes to sleep to come back on, you have a password, right?
Your phone you're talking? Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I don't because it's
dangerous.
Well, it's a hassle, but I think a guy should do it probably.
I suppose you should, yeah.
Secure it that way.
As long as you can remember that password, otherwise you've got to.
Well, you'd go to Dropbox.
But you can't. Your phone's locked.
That's right. You don't have your phone. You can't. Yeah.
I know we're going to come up on a break here momentarily, Nick. We have one more app that I wanted to toss out there. It's Package app.
Oh, okay.
And talk about that.
Yep.
I know that's something that you'd be greatly interested in hearing more about. And
okay.
It's a very neat little tool.
When we come back, we'll talk about that one.
Right now, 79.
The Red River Farm Network. Ag News is here on Super Talk 1270.
Okay, we'll get it right this time. Nick and Doug, right?
Nick and Doug.
All right, bring them on here for the
Nick and Doug show.
Home stretch of the Tech Ranch.
And just before the break, Doug was talking about a new app.
It's in beta right now.
Beta,
yeah.
And explain beta so people understand what we're talking about.
Beta essentially means, well, not essentially. It means that it's a released software program. Let's say that has 99% of the bugs worked out, so they release it to the general public or a small group of invited beta testers, and they use it like they would use anything and try to not necessarily break it, but find something that isn't working.
Wrong with it.
Right,
Yeah.
and then they document that.
See, I beta tested 7.
Did you?
Windows 7.
Okay.
For Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly, you played with it, and they warned you that if you put it on a computer, it might crash, and it did.
Yep.
But then by doing that, they were able to figure out
what the problem
was and fix it.
Yep.
Okay. And this is called what?
Package, Pakkage. It's an app that you can download. Right now it's in beta on Android devices only. And you've heard of Roadie and other type of apps for shared ride type of things or cross-country delivery.
Okay.
It's similar in that it's from community to community, only it's based on people that sign up as drivers that do a lot of traveling. Out here in the Dakotas, for example, it's 100 miles from town to town pretty much. And if I want to send a package from here to Fargo, I can use the Package app. I can download it to my phone, put in the information for the package that I'm sending. It'll tell me available hubs where I can drop the package off, and a hub is generally a convenience store located close to the main highways or interstates that go from community to community, and then I pay the fee to have it shipped. And once it's into the package system, then drivers can go in and they can claim that as they're driving from Bismarck on their way to Fargo, and they can go to that hub, pick up the package, scan it in, they load it into their vehicle, and they head on down the road, and they drop it off at the hub in Fargo, and that hub alerts the individual I'm sending it to in Fargo, and they come down and pick it up. So it's a cheap and inexpensive way to send packages, not necessarily cross town, but locally, from community to community, and then people that are signed up as drivers and approved. It's a way for them to make a few dollars and pay for some gas as they're traveling down the road.
So if I wanted to become a package driver.
Correct, yes.
Where do you go to?
You can go to package.net.
And it's not spelled like package.
Right, it's double K, Pakkage.net.
And then you put the information in there.
Yep, you download the app to your Android device and put in your information. You have to be a valid licensed driver.
Okay.
And you have to have a car, obviously, a vehicle, and you have to be the owner of the vehicle. I should say it that way.
Okay.
Rather than using your boss's car.
Yeah. So there are some qualifications.
Right. Yep.
So if I was driving for a company, say a semi, that probably wouldn't work.
Probably not, just for some liability issues.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
I see.
Right. So it's more for just the individual travel.
That travels a lot.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I can see where, especially in North Dakota with the rural setting, some of these smaller towns that are 80 to 100 miles from
one another,
from like say Bismarck.
Right.
And Bismarck being, and Mandan being the center where most people shop, and especially in the farm communities, needing a part where if they could somehow get, put it up on package, and I happen to be gone to Flasher, and I would grab that and drive it over there and drop it off.
As you're traveling
would be
through.
quite handy for the people on the other end.
Yep, that's a good example. Or you say your student comes home for the weekend from college.
Oh, sure.
And visits, and then they take off Monday morning, and they're running late for a class, so they're zipping down the road, but they left their laptop behind. You could, use package and send it down the road right behind them. It might get to them that evening, but they have it rather than having to turn around and come back.
Yeah, and that would that makes sense instead of packing it up and shipping it normally.
Right.
Yeah. So and then how does like the person that wants to ship something?
Just anybody out there, they would then
they also have to have the app too.
They also have to have the app as well, and you can sign up as a sender, a driver, or a hub, and the hub is where the packages are dropped off, whether it's from a sender or picked up by a driver. So one of those three: a sender, a driver, or the hub. And so if you wanted to send the package, you would download the app, sign up as a sender, and it's just basically like setting up an account with any of the other apps out there that you've used frequently in the past, and follow the steps. It walks you right through it, and you're off and running. It's pretty neat. It's easy, and like I say, it's in beta right now, but it's out there. Go to package.net to get more information.
Oh.
Yeah, it's cool.
Cool.
You were also, Nick, talking about, oh gosh, it escaped my mind now.
The translator?
Yes.
Yeah. What happened was during Buggies and Blues, we were parking cars, and Marlo was I was kind of directing him over to where Marlo was, and he would tell him where to go. And a fellow pulled up in a foreign sports car.
Okay.
Handed Marlo a note, and he said he didn't speak English. So Marlo said, "What language do you speak?" and it's like, okay, he doesn't speak English. Well, he took his smartphone out, and he said in his language where do I go or what do I do? Showed it to Marlo, and it translated it to English.
Okay.
And Marlo told him on his phone where to go and what to do, and it translated to his language.
That's pretty slick.
So I'm sure it's out there. There's got to be a translator, and I've heard about that before. You go to a foreign country,
right,
and you can use your smartphone. There's translators out there, so that would be pretty handy.
That would be handy. Years and years ago, when I was in high school, I took 4 years of Spanish, and then took advantage of the opportunity to go to Spain for 2 weeks. Now, you can take all the Spanish in high school class that you want, but that doesn't mean you speak Spanish very well.
Really?
So an app, really. So an app like that would have come in handy 35 some years ago or something like that for me.
Well, I spent 2 tours when I was in the Army in Germany, and I grew up, my mom and dad were both German, and they spoke German. So I could understand a little bit of it. But what I found out was there's different languages in German. It's like
dialects. And,
it's like high German, low German, and very hard to understand them. But again, that would have been handy to have.
You bet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another one that I have that I use a lot, and I use this at work, and that's Pandora.
Oh yeah, that's a nice one.
Oh yeah, Pandora is just without what you do before Pandora. You tape you made your music, and you probably made up a a list of songs that you like. If people aren't familiar with Pandora, they really need to check it out. Basically, it's go in and sign up. Oh,
there's somebody trying to get a hold of you.
I'll call you right back.
He's talking to somebody there. So you go into Pandora and you just sign up, and from there, if you like Johnny Cash, you can have your own Johnny Cash radio station.
You literally can build your own radio station and go through different artists or different songs. And once you've got that built, you can tell it to randomly play. So all day long, it'll switch to different songs. Now, it is free, and there are ads. The cost for that is so minimal. It's like $50 a year. And it also supports them. And anytime I have something that I can get for free that works, I believe in supporting it by paying the addition, the $50.
Upgrade it.
And they've changed the interface now, and it's really easy to use. But it's probably one of the most handiest things. Well, we at the office, we listen to it all day long.
All day long.
And people will come and say, what station are you listening to?
Yeah. And it's just our own little...
Yeah.
Our own little choices.
It's the one we built.
And I like how you tossed in there, if you find an app out there that you truly enjoy and it works well, do support the developers of that, because, if they go the way of the dodo, and a lot of apps do that are wonderful apps and wonderful tools, but if the developers just can't maintain them.
And if you do support them, then they'll probably enhance it, make it better over time.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it for the day?
1 minute.
1 minute. Well, we hope Marlo's having a great time out on the
left coast.
Because we had a good time here today, and thank Doug and Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's it.